Hello everybody, today's episode is going to be a little special as I finally managed to find a copy of my Rat Dead. No, seriously, why is this game so freaking rare? No joke here, but you have an easier time finding the Holy Grail than finding a game about a dead rat. Sorry about that. Let's move on. So the game starts off and we're given options on how to answer the question, but it seems like it doesn't really affect the main game. So yeah, we also get to see rat surgery. And because of said surgery, we die. That rat ain't breathing for sure, I'll tell you what. Oh my god, I was really bad at pressing. But anyway, we soon face the rat god, who lets us relive our final days to fulfill our wish. Naturally, being a lab rat means that wish is
try to take over the world.
Wait, that's not his wish? What do you mean that's not his wish? Then what is his wish? Revenge on a human that treated him like a lab rat? Seems fair. This tutorial stage shows us that this ain't no ordinary platforming game. It's got rhythm, and the music for the stage is pretty catchy. Eventually we make our way out of heaven and break out of our cage, and we're given a beat. This is where the level starts. And this stage overall is fantastic, with awesome music, fun stage layout, and an overall frantic experience. In fact, I'll say it right here, right now, this game's soundtrack is fantastic. No, seriously, it will make you go cuckoo bananas. This game's soundtrack is worth a listen because it will make you go. Okay, so this is the part where I tell you that this review isn't gonna be a normal one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna review the stage based on whether it's fun to play and its accompanying music on whether it's catchy. I'll also be talking about the story and sharing my thoughts on the execution. Everything seems to be going smoothly so far, until it turns out the thing that was talking from earlier is actually Mad Rat Hard.
George, can I talk to you for a second?
And as for the stage, it's pretty good. The music may not be as catchy as the last one, but it's still phenomenal. This is also where they introduce sliding, and it looks more like if he's snowboarding. Rolling around at the speed of... So Mad Rat and Hart manage to get into a rat cage, and Mad Rat tries to convince the rat to kill the human with him. But when that completely fails, he sets out to do it all by himself. This stage introduces a lot more wall jumping, platforms that fall at the mere touch, and a few more enemy types. What I like about this stage is that it introduces elements to make it harder, but still remembers not to make it downright impossible. The music is also pretty catchy. After he gets caught, he gets dropped back into the cage, but this time the rats are acting a little odd. Despite how messed up that was, what we have here is our first boss fight. While they still have the time limit, they usually only take place in one room. These rats are interesting to fight, though a little cheap, and this music feels more like techno. And then he faints. audio. But at least we got the rap god to make us feel bad. So after that we end up in the drains for some reason. And since it's not the lab, Mad Rat decides to go back there. This stage introduces rising water, that if you so much as pixel touch, you die. Surprisingly, this stage doesn't even have any enemies. And that doesn't bother me too much, because it allows us to get used to the water, and the music is alright. So Mad Rat and Heart make a stop and realize the drain is a dangerous place, and Mad Rat shows he needs to leave an impact on the world by drawing a doodle of himself. And honestly, this stage is really fun, being a combination of the previous two things we learned. And is it really, or is this part eerily similar to that one Donkey Kong music? Probably just me. So on their way, Mad Rat is basically questioned by Heart on whether he feels bad on killing those rats. Seeing as how they transformed earlier, nah, he doesn't. And Heart warns him that he will regret that. And as for this music, it sure feels distorted, alright. We're introduced to these umbrella-looking enemies that you can use to home attack on. This stage is pretty awesome, having fair challenge, cool mechanics, and an incredibly distorted but lovable music.
Get him home!
Here you go!
Seems like Mad Rat is the only one who could see the ghost though, and said ghost keeps following him. So we do what Ed and the gang does best.
Run away again!
This stage sets out to do a few original ideas, such as different paths, making us cross a gap through the water, and the execution for the most part is pretty flawless. I can't say the same for this music though. While it's not bad, it sounds like one of those Minecraft intros. So it turns out the ghost is still following them, and a few more even appear. So wanna know what Mad Rat does? Punt them. Just punt them.
Ooh, you kiss your mother with that mouth?
Now that is
consequences. Okay, so this is the first boss that will make you realize you will die a lot, especially in the later stages. But this is the first one to make you realize that. I mean, sure, you realized it before by a couple of deaths, but the amount in the stage alone is gonna be a lot. And it doesn't help that this boss is actually pretty tough. From running away to dodging attacks, you will certainly have a tough and maybe even miserable times. But the music makes things a little less miserable. And then we faint again. Hoorah! So the advice we're told before sending us back to the lab is to follow the cheese. This stage is like the other laboratory stage but with a more mechanical feel. And because of that, it makes this one a lot more unique. And this music is pretty freaking sweet. I mean, at least it's not the moon from Majora's Mask. Sudder, but it seems like the heart still can't see the moon. This stage is like the previous laboratory, but now it has flooding water, which I really like cause it makes things more intense. So we catch up with the human, only for it to seem like heart can't see the human either. So this stage have disappearing and reappearing platforms, akin to Mega Man, and they are just as annoying here as they are in Mega Man, but overall it's pretty much like the previous one but with more annoying. This music is pretty alright.
You did it, sir.
I did it. He did it.
I did it.
He did it.
Since we accomplished our goal, we are congratulated by the Rat God and given cheese. This stage has everything filled with cheese, and it's pretty fun with a awesomely catchy music. Hart proceeds to tell Mad Rat that there's something wrong with him and to wake up. Then he teleports us. So as it turns out, Hart wants to fight us to wake us up. Most of his attacks are him throwing slimy stuff at us, and sometimes they can be pretty hard to dodge. So it turns out we've been in this forest for the entire time, and that the lab that Mad Rat was seeing was just a hallucination. But wait, what about the cheese? Run away! And run away we do, in the stage where we have to run away from the cat by dodging the attacks. In the stage that's both frantic and chaotic for all the good reasons, just without it being covered with cheese. And the music perfectly represents that. After we escaped, Mad Rat sees the lab again, only for her to help him out to see that they currently are again. And it turns out all the things we saw before were hallucinations, but this time Hart is more supportive. This stage not only has water, but it also has a music that feels more like a Kirby music. Not that it's a bad thing. So as it turns out, there's another rat. But before we can ask him any questions, it turns out he's having hallucinations like how Mad Rat was earlier, before promptly going away, so we have to catch up to him. This stage is more wall jump based, with, you guessed it, water rising, and a few good music that I really dig. Yep, that's right. They all died. Of course, Mad Rat tries to run away, but then this happens. It turns out we've been saved by a kid. Mad Rat feels embarrassed by that though, but needless to say, they continue their way back to the lab. This stage has the usual bells and whistles of the previous one, including the fact that this also sounds like a Kirby music, which again, isn't a bad thing. I'll admit, this exchange got a chuckle out of me. Back to the underground we go, with a harder but more fun stage that has very funky music. The gasp! It's the cat from earlier, but Mad Rat has had enough and decided to fight it. It's a horizontal fight, so just like with the ghost, you will die a lot. But this time, the cat has the advantage of being in the pitch black the stage mostly takes place in, so be careful. But after the cat drowns, Mad Rat suddenly feels bad for the cat and rewinds time to save the cat. What's unique about this stage is the fact that sometimes the cat will help you by giving you its paw as a platform, and the water rises way faster. The music is once again pretty swell. So after we escape from water, the next stage takes place at night in the city, with a hard stage but a calming and soothing music. But then, something horrible happens. Okay, that's a lot to take in, but luckily, Mad Rat lines 2 before that happens, giving him enough time to prevent it from happening. The stage is about a race to the finish before, she gets killed. And what works about the song is that it gives hope, determination, though sometimes the music will distract you a little too much to get off beat. And when you're off beat, the game heavily punishes you, but eventually we do save the girl and we are rewarded with the stage and music go hand in hand together like peanut butter and chocolate. The stage is well structured while the music shows a satisfying triumphant. Her questions why Mad Rat was lured in with the fake cheese, but Mad Rat himself doesn't really know why. And seeing as how the other things we saw previously were hallucinations, it's no crazy theory that the rat god might be hallucination too. This stage introduces a new enemy that aims for you, but the rest of the stage is pretty much what we've seen before, but without the water. And this music is decent. Oh look, it's the rat god once again here to make us feel bad. And as Rat wakes up, he's not only stuck in the version of the city that's filled with cheese, but he also get hard to snap out of it. The level does a phenomenal job of showing the deserted city filled with cheese, down to a T. And so does the music for that matter. When all is lost, heart comes for us. Yeah, suck on that, rat. Not God. So she summons a big cheese wheel that looks like a monster. As boss fights go, this one is a little less hard than the other ones, though it's still a little tough. Especially knowing that the weak spot is in its middle. And it can only be accessed once the monster decides to open up. But after the fight, we get woken up by the cat, and this basically happens.
Blueberry?
This stage is one of the hardest stages I have ever played, with a combination of all the hard things that made up the previous stages, and yet the calmingly soothing music made me want to keep going. Upon arrival, Hart manages to convince Mad Rat to at least see his face before killing him as in the human. As we explore the lab with the game's theme song playing, the lab seems to look a little different, and there are funny books that can help us as platforms. Okay, so there wasn't much difference between choosing to kill and save, but because I didn't have the gut to choose the prior, I chose to save him. I regret nothing. After sparing the human's life, Mad Rat comes to grip with his end, but he is thankful to not have a bad day thanks to Hart. So it's been decided that the nicest place to die is at the moonlight. What I like about Mini Moon both as a stage and its music is the fact that it portrays grief and acceptance so well. And while the stage is tough as nails, it never forgets those two themes, and the music never forgets those either. So because of the Rat God, she ended up undoing all the things we did, and Mad Rat wakes up in his cage, only to be taken by the human, and we see that he's doing the surgery. Surprisingly, Mad Rat is conscious. But then guess who shows up? Of course it was her. And this time she wants to put a stop to Mad Rat's plan. Stage introduces spiky red vines. The stage also makes you go up, and I think that's one of the reasons this is one of the hardest stages of all time. The music has a "This is Halloween" vibe, and I totally dig it. This stage is a lot like the previous one, but way more harder. But it now also has the platforms from the earlier levels. This music also feels like a Kirby music. Again, not that there's anything wrong with that. Appropriately, the stage throws everything it taught you at the wall. The music complements the stage with the hard but not impossible vibe. This fight is one of the most toughest bosses I've ever encountered. She throws so many attacks at you, and she's really fast. This music isn't bad, but kinda odd. But eventually we defeat the parasite, and my right rewinds back to before the surgery to not only prevent the surgery, but also save Hart, who turns out to be a cat. So Hart flees and the credits roll. If you made it through the credits though, this will happen. I'm not crying, you're crying. But yeah, in conclusion, it may have a few problems, but I adore this game to my very heart. And if you haven't gotten it, good luck. This game is really hard to find for some reason. This was You Know Who from You Know Who's World, wishing you a farewell. And just before I head out, I'd just like to thank everyone who's been supporting me for the last 2 years. It really means a lot to me, and I hope you're excited for what I've got in store next. Also, don't worry, as of writing this, next bonus has officially started production. Alright, that's it. See ya.